Many of us women hardly know what human rights are because we've been conditioned and groomed right from childhood, even into adulthood, to accept cruel and inhumane treatment as the norm for us. So I just thought it would be very important for us to take some time and go through what these human rights are. And it might shock you that some of the things you thought were normal are actually not normal. They're actually illegal things that are being done to you. Maybe you might have experienced some crimes against your human person and you have no idea of it. And maybe you are even the kind of person that is encouraging it because you think it is what you deserve. So, one basic human right that we're entitled to as women is this, that no one has a right to hold you in slavery. So, you might be wondering to yourself, so how does that concern me? I don't think I'm being enslaved. I'm just married or I'm just in a relationship. But I'm going to unpack 10 marriage expectations that resemble modern day slavery for women. First one is forced marriage. So many women are forced into marriage without their full, free, and informed consent, and is often due to family pressure, cultural norms, or financial arrangements. So you find out that your parents might end up telling you, oh, you're already 20, your mates are getting married, or it could be the pressure to get married so that you'll be able to take care of your family and siblings, maybe if the family is not well to do, right? And it could be a whole lot of things. Once it is not with your consent, with your whole heart, it is not a choice you would have made for yourself, it is a form of slavery. The next one is denial of economic freedom. So, for example, expecting women to be financially dependent on men, for forbidding them from working or controlling their access to money. A man will go and look for a woman that is working, and immediately she comes in, he'll be like, "You have to submit to me. Stop working, or when you work, submit all your money to me, and all that and all that." That is a form of slavery. Or maybe they just hold the money, and you have to beg for every single crumb. You have to dance, you have to grovel, worship them before money comes. That is a form of slavery and it is against your human rights. So the third one is sexual obligation without consent. So, for example, there's the belief that a wife must always be sexually available to her husband, regardless of her own desire or her own well being and all that. So, you find out that women, they might be tired after a long day at work and all that. The man is not even involved, in the house chores and all that. And he comes back and he's like, I want you and I don't care what you think. And there's a woman I came across a story that I think they said she passed out because she just came back from having a baby, I think through CS, and the man said he must still have his way with her. That is a form of slavery and it is against your human right. Another example is domestic servitude. We all know that women are expected to perform all the household duties without support, without recognition, without choice, and there's no pay for it. So imagine a woman saying, I washed the plate, so I cooked all the food. You should be giving me pocket money or whatever. It is like, what do you mean? How can you be expecting to be paid for what you do in this house? But meanwhile, the man will go out there, whatever he does out there, he's paid for it. But the woman, even to get pocket money for a lot of women is an impossibility. A lot of women end up having to try and see where they can squeeze money from. Okay, they give you money to go to the market to try and start squeezing. But unfortunately, some women don't even have that luxury because the money that you are giving is not even enough. There's nothing to squeeze. That is against your human rights. You have every right to be paid for the work that you do. So this expectation that we work and our reward is in heaven, or our reward is when our children grow up and we go for omogo. That is servitude. That is a form of modern day slavery. So the fifth point I want to share is isolation from support networks. So, for example, if you find yourself in a situation where your husband or your spouse is controlling who you can talk to, where you can go, cutting you off from your friends and family, that is a form of modern day slavery, because they are using that tactic to dominate you and enslave you emotionally. So that's why you find that a lot of women, once they just get married, they feel that pressure to cut off from their unmarried friends. The husband may say, I don't want you hanging out with those girls. I don't want you. Every time they're calling your family, they even kind of start gaslighting you and blackmailing you into cutting off from those that could notice when something is going wrong, where you're beginning to change and accept things that are not okay. They cut you off from those people. That is a form of modern day slavery. Number 6 is reproductive control. If you find yourself in a situation where the man is always getting you pregnant, or he tells you you cannot use any form of protection. It's a sin. You just, whenever you want to accomplish something in life, you want to go to the next level, he will get you pregnant. Or even sometimes some men will just be like, a woman wants to have children, but he's preventing her, whether he's lacing her food or whatever, or he's just saying, do whatever it takes, I don't want to have children, and all that. And it is not something that was agreed upon. It is a form of modern day slavery. It is against your human right, because as a human and a full-fledged adult, you have every right, over what happens to your body. You are not a machine that is used to birth babies. There are women that have so many children, they hardly know what to do with it. And that becomes a form of control, because if such women that have so many children and they don't even have source of income to take care of themselves, and they are fully dependent on the man, they can't leave. If not for anything, for the sake of their children, a lot of such women struggle to leave, because if they leave, a lot of them might literally end up on the streets. And even if some of them go back to their parents or their families, they may not be accepted. So that is a form of modern day slavery. Cultural pressure to endure abuse in most of our African societies, and also because of religious influence. Many women are expected to stay and pray, through physical and emotional abuse, through all manner of abuse, financial abuse, and it ends up reinforcing a system where women are shamed if they leave that kind of toxic environment. So somebody can choose to leave a toxic job, somebody can choose to walk away from a toxic space, but when marriage is involved, women are expected to stay and endure it all. That is a form of slavery. You have every right to remove yourself from a situation where you don't feel safe, where you are being treated as someone that is less than human. Expectation to abandon our personal dreams. So when a woman gets married, a lot of times there is that tendency for us to be expected to sacrifice our dreams to go and support that of a man. They will preach it, even in the church. Many churches preach it. Culture expects it. It is something that is expected from women. Sometimes a woman that is even probably doing better in her career than a man will be expected to leave her career, for example, to go and join a man to get married and all those kind of things. And that is not fair. You have every right to desire a career and to hold a career. Okay. So if you find yourself in an arrangement where the man didn't mention that this is what he wanted, it's one thing if he said, I want to stay at home wife, and you agreed. But it's another thing if he said, oh yeah, I love a career woman, but you come in and then he's now trying to manipulate you, use your family, use religion and all that to cajole you into abandoning the things that matter to you. That is a form of slavery. So number 9 is legal or religious barriers to divorce. When a woman comes to a place like, she's like, I'm done, this is not working for me. There are so many legal restrictions. There are so many cultural restrictions. There are so many social restrictions. There are so many religious restrictions that make it difficult for women, many women, to live, abusive relationships. And that becomes like a form of slavery. You have a right to remove yourself from a place that is not safe for you. But because of the expectations, a lot of women end up staying. And then finally, number 10 is lack of consent in marital roles. So when women are just automatically made to believe the man is the provider and the woman has to be the stay at home. So in that case, even if you wanted to go out and work and contribute, you are expected to stay at home and do all the things that need to be done while the man goes out there and does whatever it is that he wants to do. That is unfair. You have every right to choose how things run in your life. So it is, instead of having a mutual agreement, if you find yourself being imposed on, this is what you must do, it's almost like it's a master servant relationship. So these are some things you need to consider. I want you to understand that before you are a wife, you are human. You are made in God's image and likeness, and that nothing makes you less than a man in any way. So it may not mean that because you have all this information, you're able to just stand up and walk away. But I wanted to put it out there so that a lot of us women who have never considered these things can begin to think about it. Because when you understand who you are, then you'll be able to begin to build up, structures and put things in place to help you over time to be able to live if need be. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you're thinking in the comment section.